Aloha, everyone. Welcome. We're going to go ahead and get started here in just a couple minutes. So go ahead and kick back, relax, and we'll go ahead and get started. Aloha, everyone. Welcome. We're going to go ahead and get started here in just a moment. All right, everyone, aloha and welcome. And of course, we want to go ahead and say congratulations on being accepted to the University of Hawaii at Manoa. We're so excited that you guys could take some time out of your afternoon / evening to come and join us to learn more about Manoa and to officially start taking those next steps. I know we've been getting a lot of questions, so we are definitely going to be here to support you in any way that we can. So just a few reminders and this is going to be a webinar style type presentation. So you guys can see us. However, we cannot see you. So we will definitely encourage you guys to go ahead and put your questions in the Q&A section that you'll see at the bottom of your screen. Also, I'd like to note that this is being recorded. And so if you miss anything or if you'd like it to be repeated later on, do not worry. You will all receive an email after this with a recording, as well as you can also view it on our YouTube channel later on as well. All you have to do is search UH Manoa Admissions, and it's going to be on our official Manoa Admissions YouTube channel. So just to formally introduce myself, my name is Amber Owens. I'm one of the admissions counselors here at the University of Hawaii at Manoa. I'm I basically support California, also as well as in Nevada, Alaska, and the Midwest. And I'm also excited to present to you, is Jose. If you don't mind, go ahead and introducing yourself.
Okay. How's it, aloha students? Ho'omaikai, congratulations on getting admitted to UH Manoa. My name is Jose Magno. I'm one of the admissions counselors like Amber as well. My main territory is all of the entire state of Hawaii. So if there's any of our local students on the call, it's great connecting with you guys. Look forward to working with you. Definitely excited for Amber and I to be here today to just talk a little bit more about UH Manoa, and just the next steps to enroll with us. So please let us know whatever questions you guys might have during the course of today's presentation.
Thanks, Jose. So we know that this year, as well as technically last year, is not your standard year. Unfortunately, as much as we would love to meet you in person, I know that's what Jose and I definitely prefer to do. We are excited that we do have so many different virtual options to meet with you. So as you guys know, you can definitely meet with us on our Warrior webinars. We have, of course, several throughout the semester, and they'll continue into summer. You can also connect with us via email or our virtual front desk. Our admissions team, financial aid team, and registrar's team, they all have a virtual front desk. So especially if you have last minute questions where you're like, wait, I have a question about this. You need an immediate answer. Those virtual front desks are definitely the best way, most efficient way to get an answer, of course. You can always schedule one-on-one appointments with any of your admissions counselors as well. It is entirely based on territory, so just look at your counselor, what state you're from, and go ahead and book an appointment with us. We also do have a great exciting event called the Manoa Experience coming up next week. So we'll share more information about that at the end. And then upcoming this semester, we will also have is accepted student receptions, which will be a ton of fun. So it's going to be basically like this, but if you can imagine several departments there in this huge big event, virtual of course, a ton of great resources to be able to access for students. So definitely keep an eye on your email. You'll find out more information about that later on. So for today, you're probably thinking, okay, what exactly are we covering today? So basically what we're going over is you're accepted, now what? I know that's the big question we keep getting is what am I supposed to be focusing on right now? I know you guys are of course like super on it as far as wanting to make sure to keep up to date and that you don't, get behind any deadlines. So we'll go ahead and go over those next steps, the timeline, that new warrior checklist that is available to view online. We'll touch bases on some of our scholarships. I know we have a big deadline coming up here in a couple days. We will also touch base on housing and also course registration. So if you're wondering kind of what that timeline looks like, so of course right now, as you guys know, we are in January. So we have our new Warrior Scholarship application is due coming up here in a couple of days. We'll go into more details about that in a moment. We do have our FAFSA priority deadline coming up on February 1st, as well as the STAR deadline coming up on the 15th, February 15th for scholarships. And for those who are wondering about your financial aid package, those start becoming available next month. So if you haven't gotten it yet, you're not behind it anyway. Going into March, we're still going to be focusing on some scholarships, and then gearing towards May, we'll start getting into more turning in your tuition deposit, your student housing deadline. You'll start registering for courses. Summertime hits, you'll of course start working on your health clearance form. And then the first day of school is officially August 23rd, and your tuition deadline will be right before that. So this next page here, the new Warrior Checklist, may look familiar. This version right here is just a condensed version of it. So if you haven't already had a chance to go online and check it out, I highly encourage you to do so. If you do recognize it, definitely let us know if you have questions about it. We'll go into more details about these different steps here in just a moment. By kicking it off, of course, the very first step that you want to do is to definitely create your MyUH account. So you'll log on, you basically type in your information. Your UH ID number is so important to remember. So once you get that UH ID number, which you all have by now, definitely make sure to save it as a contact or under a note under your phone, in your phone. That way you can constantly reference it. That UH ID number is going to get you access to go ahead and register for Hawai'i.edu email. That Hawai'i.edu email, once you have it, is going to be our main way of contacting you. So definitely be sure, even if you're not 100% committed to us yet, that's totally okay. We still encourage you to check that email frequently. I know personally, I have mine on my cell phone, so that way I can just always access it at any time. You'll also be able to access several other different resources on your MyUH account. So, viewing your financial aid, registering for classes, viewing available classes, accessing how to talk to your professors, on-campus job opportunities, and of course, your UH portal is also where you'll go to pay tuition. So definitely, if you haven't already made that UH account, definitely check that out. And if you ever are bored at home, because I know everyone's still pretty much in lockdown right now, go and explore around it, play around with it. Don't worry, you won't mess anything up, but the more familiar you get with it, it'll make your life a little bit easier when, the springtime happens and it starts getting a little stressful. So I'm going to go ahead and toss it off to Jose to talk to you guys more about scholarships and financial aid.
Okay, perfect. So obviously college is a big investment. So there's a lot of ways that you can take advantage of really cutting down on your overall college costs with financial aid and scholarships. So just really quickly in terms of upcoming deadlines, our new Warrior scholarships, the deadline is approaching in the next few days, actually 2 days. So the deadline for the new Warrior scholarships is going to be January 15th. There's a number of scholarships. If you are a non-resident student, you potentially can get in-state tuition. And for our local students on the call, there's also the Regent Scholarship and also the Provost Achievement Scholarship. So you can do a simple Google search for the new Warrior scholarships. The first website that pops up is going to give you a general idea of what to turn in. If you have not started it, please start it as soon as this call is done. Once again, the deadline is January 15th. And to qualify, you should have put in your general application for UH Manoa by the priority deadline of January 5th. So to qualify, we would have had to receive your application for admission by January 5th. The FAFSA, or the financial aid deadline or priority deadline, is going to be February 1st. So the priority deadline is going to be February 1st, but it is a first come, first served basis. And financial aid is packaged and dispersed based on when you turn in your financial aid application. So try to get everything in by the priority deadline of February 1st. And once we start receiving that, financial aid will start processing your financial aid awards, so your loans, grants, scholarships, and they're going to start loading it on your STAR profile, starting usually by the end of February, early March. And it's going to be, as your applications come in, that's when your financial aid is going to be processed. So try to get everything in by February 1st. We also have a database of scholarships through the STAR portal. So the STAR database scholarships are going to be due in February 15th. Comprehensively, every year we have roughly about $9.5 million worth of scholarships annually. And these scholarships can range from everything that's academic based. They can be based on interests. They can be based on extracurriculars. I mean, depending on the agency or the organization in charge of the scholarship that's on the database, they're going to have their own set of requirements. But for the most part, most of the STAR database scholarships are going to be due January 15th. So even though you have not heard back from UH, you can actually go on to STAR and you can kind of do a search and see what kind of scholarships opportunities are available. And once you get admitted, you can use your username and password and you can actually log on. You can start applying for these STAR database scholarships. Once again, over $9.5 million worth of scholarships annually. And every year we only actually give away half of that amount. So there's physically a lot of money sitting there that we don't distribute because kids are not applying for it. So be proactive, be diligent. And with the STAR database of scholarships, you can actually stack those scholarships, try to take down as much of your college costs down as you can. And then lastly, the UH system scholarships. So those are going to be due by March 1st. Also a really great collection of scholarships you can apply for. I would highly suggest you apply for as many scholarships as possible, both on STAR and the overall University of Hawaii scholarship database. Okay. If you have any questions or you need to view that, you can take your phone and you can scan the QR code right there, which will take you to the scholarship databases. For financial aid, your financial aid packages, they'll be available starting in February. Once again, the priority deadline is on February 1st, so try to get that in as soon as you can. They'll be processed in order of acceptance, and pretty much financial aid will be processed regularly until there is no more funding available. So try to get it in as soon as possible. Notifications will be sent out to your hawaii.edu email, and you can check your UH account on STAR to view your award. It's going to be loaded on your profile, and you can take a look at everything that you receive, whether it be loans, grants, scholarships, and you can go one by one, step by step, line by line to whether or not you want to accept or decline whatever you've received. So once you apply for financial aid, just be on the lookout to your hawaii.edu and also STAR for your package to be awarded. For student housing, although we do not require student housing, it's not required as an incoming freshman. If you do apply by the priority deadline of May 1st, we will place you in student housing for freshman year. And you can actually stay on campus until you graduate. You just have to renew every year until you graduate. So the application for fall 2021 for housing will be available February. So be on the lookout for that. As soon as it's posted, start applying for housing. The housing deadline is going to be due by May 1st. So once again, if you want to guarantee yourself housing for freshman year, make sure you get your application in by the May 1st deadline. In the summer, your housing assignments will be dispersed and you'll find out where you've been placed, you'll find out who your roommate is, and you can kind of coordinate with them exactly what you're bringing and so forth. And then late summer is when you start purchasing and selecting your meal plans. Move-in day is the week before school starts. So we are monitoring COVID and how it kind of evolves within the next couple months to determine what housing is going to be looking like. This year, specifically due to COVID, we actually went single occupancy. So all of our incoming freshmen had their own rooms. We're hoping that by fall, we're able to place you with a roommate, because that is exactly what college is all about, and being able to connect with other students. But as of now, just make sure to get your application in by the May 1st deadline. You also have the option of selecting your roommate. So the general process in terms of roommate placement is you fill out a general questionnaire, and we'll try our best to actually place you with a student that answers the questionnaire as similar as possible. But if you do want to request a roommate, just make sure on your application you specify that student number, and that individual specifies your student number so that it's full circle and that you're both requesting each other on your applications. Okay. Any questions regarding student housing, you can scan that QR code, or you can go directly to the main housing website, which is housing.hawaii.edu, and you'll find all the information that you need for student housing. Course registration for students will begin sometime in May. So it's important for you that even before registration begins, you can actually go to our Manoa advising guide and you can start getting in contact with your advisor. So we have major specific advisors for the different majors that we do have on campus. So for example, if you want to go into civil engineering, you want to go into marine biology, psychology, there's a dedicated advisor specific to your program. If you're not too sure what you want to major in, we have a couple options for you. We have something called the Manoa Advising Center that you can speak with, or you can speak with our first year programs in terms of finding out about different courses, how to register for courses as well. And if you eventually want to go into pre-health or pre-law, which means you want to go into the medical field, you want to go to law school, med school, physical therapy school. We also have a pre-health, pre-law advising center, and that specific advising center can work with you to determine the right program and also kind of map out what your college coursework will look like so that you can start building the strongest grad school application for the schools that you want to apply for. You can learn about our placement exams on STAR, and usually if your major is math-based or STEM-based, you are required to take placement exams for math and chemistry. And that's going to be done online sometime during the course of the summer, and you would start registering for the math and chemistry placement exams directly with the department. More information in terms of that process will be sent out to you. And also, you have the option of taking language placement exams. So to actually graduate from the University of Hawaii at Manoa, you need to take a combination of 4 semesters of a specific language or a combination of culture classes. If you actually are proficient in a language that you've taken in high school, you have the option of actually taking a language placement exam and potentially getting credit for it. So you can get credit for those graduation requirements by taking a placement exam. Once again, that information for placement exams will be sent out to you, so just be on the lookout for that. Registration for courses is going to be done through STAR. So as Amber mentioned, get yourself familiarized with the STAR process and the STAR GPS system, so that by the time registration does begin, you're familiar with how, the login process and how to select courses will be. Registration for courses will begin starting May 24th. And you also have the option of signing up for ACE, which is Access to College Excellence, and also first year programs, where you can actually sign up for clusters of courses geared towards majors, where you're paired with a current student, and also all the classes that you take, you're in the same cohort with 15 to 20 other students, which helps with your transition to the UH Manoa campus. And the nice thing is, within your cohort, you already know, automatically know a small group of students, and you have a current student which will help you transition from high school or your current from high school to the UH Manoa setting. Okay, if you want to find out who your advisor is, you can scan that QR code, and that should take you to the Manoa Advising Guide. Other than that, you can do a general Google search, and you can find your advisor on the main websites.
All right, so thank you so much, Jose, for presenting that. Appreciate it. So we are going to go ahead and go into more about the Q&A. So I know you guys have been asking a lot of great questions. And so we're going to go ahead and take all of the questions by category. And so I just wanted to first, of course, address if you guys have been putting questions in the chat, definitely make sure to go ahead and put those questions in the Q&A. I'm only checking the Q&A, so just make sure to go ahead and put them in there so we can make sure to see them. If we, for some reason, don't get to your question today, definitely be sure to email us after the fact too. We want to make sure to answer all the questions you may have. For the prospective students who are currently here, unfortunately, we won't be able to let you know too much about your application status at this time, but we do, of course, encourage you to go ahead and email us at manoa.admissions@hawaii.edu. So that main email that you see on the screen, we'll be able to go ahead and give you more information about that. And we also do have a prospective Q&A session coming up a little bit later on this month. So definitely be sure to attend that. We'll answer all of those prospective student questions. But today we're going to go ahead and focus more on the accepted side of things. But the one thing I know people have been asking for the perspective, just one question I want to address is that our application wait time is approximately 8 to 10 weeks right now for processing. So if you applied recently, haven't heard back yet, definitely just feel free to be patient with that, and we'll contact you via email, or you can always check with us as well. We'll be happy to share with you your status on your admissions. All right, so kind of touching base a little bit more on admissions as far as, for the accepted students. So this is a really great question that says, just asking about WUI. So I know, Jose, you definitely dealt with a lot of WUI students last year. So this student is asking, if you live in a participating WUI state, is there anything additional that you need to do to qualify for WUI tuition?
No, so actually when you apply to the University of Hawaii at Manoa, there's going to be a portion of the application where it's going to ask if you're a Western undergraduate exchange student. And all you have to do is actually click that box. Once we verify your residency for a Western state and you are admitted, you automatically get the Western undergraduate exchange. So that actually reduces your tuition a little less than 50%. So rather than about 33,000, you're looking at about 17,000 per year. And all majors qualify for the Western undergraduate exchange. So it's applicable to all majors, even if you come in undecided, you part of exploratory majors. As long as you're from a Western state, you're admitted to UH Manoa, you'll get the Western undergraduate exchange tuition. And once you get it freshman year, it just automatically renews itself every year until you guys graduate. Okay.
Great, thanks, Jose. And so I have a few different questions of students asking about how they can find out who their counselor is, their admissions counselor. So Stacy, do you mind putting the link in the chat for our students of how to tell which admissions counselor is theirs, and then also how to schedule appointments with us individually? And then
I just wanted to kind of clarify for you guys. There's a big difference between admissions counselors and actual academic advisors. So for individuals like Amber and myself, we walk you through the application period and help you with your status, any questions about the application. when you actually are trying to get questions addressed about majors, classes that you should register for, we are not the individuals to do that. You would your specific advisors for that. Help you with any questions about the university. Use the advising guide directly for those contacts.
Perfect. Yeah, I could not agree more. All right, so gonna go ahead and jump up into, I see we've gotten a lot of questions about scholarships, especially because we know that deadline is coming up this, Friday now, Friday at midnight or 11:59 Hawaii Standard Time. So for those who are on the East Coast, lucky you, but just kidding. Definitely we don't wanna wait until the last minute. So I have a great question that asks, what scholarships can transfers apply to? So Jose, do you mind touching base on that?
Unfortunately, in terms of just scholarships for transfer students, as of now, as I mentioned earlier, the STAR database of scholarships is probably going to be the largest collection of scholarships that's accessible for all students that have been admitted. So even as a transfer student, you can apply for multiple scholarships on that STAR database. Unfortunately, as a transfer student, you will not qualify for the New Warrior scholarships, but there's millions of dollars on that database that you can apply for. Once you're physically on campus, you can access the STAR database of scholarships every year that you're a student. And there's also going to be major specific scholarship opportunities which are advertised within your department. So it's important for you to stay in contact with your academic advisors, because once again, those individuals will give you an update in terms of other scholarship opportunities for students within specific majors. So the main scholarship database is STAR, as well as a UH system scholarship database.
Yeah, absolutely. And just kind of reiterating, I see a few questions asking about the deadline. So I went ahead and pulled up that slide again. So if you guys can take a peek. So the New Warrior scholarships, those are the ones directly through admissions, are due on this Friday. However, our STAR scholarship deadline is going to be February 15th. And then the UH system common scholarship is due March 1st. However, I know the New Warrior scholarships is also through the UH system scholarship. So just make sure you go ahead and submit that all the way, because I've seen that error in the past occur. So I have a student who is asking, are Western undergraduate exchange students, so WUI students, able to apply for the New Warrior Scholarship? So
I believe there is a New Warrior scholarship. I'm gonna, so we have a scholarship for the New Warrior scholarships. It's called the Manoa Excellence Scholarship. And basically what that scholarship does, it's for students that are not resident or WUI, and who are, from all states outside of the state of Hawaii. And that scholarship will potentially get you in-state tuition. So the Manoa Excellence Scholarship, if you actually type in New Warrior scholarships in Google, it'll bring you up to the website. And that specific scholarship, you can apply for, and that will potentially could get you in-state tuition. Once again, the deadline is going to be this Friday, January 15th.
Yep, perfect. And then I'm going to go ahead and jump through a few of these because I know we have quite a bit of questions coming in. So I have a student that's asking, does an accepted student automatically, are they automatically enrolled for the New Warrior scholarships, or do you need to apply separately? So it is going to be a separate application. We have our Manoa Academic Merit, that's an automatic one, but our New Warrior Scholarship specifically are going to be due this Friday. You do not need SAT or ACT scores to go ahead and apply for them. So if you've not been able to take the, the test or the exams, please, by all means, keep yourself safe. We understand it's been a unique year. We are completely test optional, so you do not need test scores for that. Also, I see questions asking about the odds of getting one of the New Warrior scholarships. To be honest, we're not sure yet, just because this year we have actually had more applicants than we've ever had in the past. So if we were to give you numbers from last year, It's unfortunately completely irrelevant to this year just because we aren't requiring test scores, so we do have more applicants. But of course, we are expecting to let those who have applied, we're going to start letting the applicants know about mid-March to early April. So you'll definitely know a little bit more by then what to expect, and if you're on the wait list or if you're denied or accepted. So definitely be sure to keep checking that hawaii.edu email. All right, so I'm going to kind of go ahead and then jump to financial aid now. So for the tuition price that they see on the, uh, financing your future guides and all the different guides we have posted online, is that going to be for one semester or the full year? So that is going to be for the full academic year. So do not worry, it is not whatever you see on the screen times 2, because that would be very expensive. That's going to be for the full year. So Jose, would you mind being able to talk more about when the awards are going to be given? I know we talked about it earlier, but then also how students can apply for FAFSA.
So you would actually, so usually when you apply for FAFSA, you go to the main financial aid website. So I think let me bring it up on my end so I can just reiterate it. Oh, it's just going to be studentaid.gov. So pretty easy. It's studentaid.gov. So federal student aid application is, you just type in FAFSA in Google, and the first website that pops up is a financial aid website. And you can actually just indicate the University of Hawaii school code and all the others, all the other universities that you want to apply for financial aid. You just indicate the school codes, and that's how you apply for financial aid. So just make sure, once again, the priority deadline is going to be February 1st. And the first round of disbursements into your My UH portal should be towards the end of February, early March. So once again, try to get your financial aid application in by February 1st. The sooner the better.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so going to be kind of switching a little bit more gears now into student housing. So the big question, I know, Jose, you've already touched on this, but if you don't mind reiterating for those who were not here at the time, of going over when the scheduled move-in date is, and then how do students choose roommates?
So the move-in date for the university is, for incoming students, usually begins the Tuesday prior to the first day of instruction, which is going to be next year, August 23rd is a first instruction. So the week prior to that is something that we call our week of welcome, and that also coincides with move-in day. So let me just actually bring up the day August calendar, just so I can give you a more precise date of when that would be. Hold on a second. So for the move-in date, you are looking at, it's roughly going to start on August 17th. So move-in day for freshmen most likely will be August 17th or 18th, and then the remaining days are going to be for transfers and now all other students. So we usually move in our students the Tuesday prior to the first day of instruction, and according to the 2021 calendar, that's going to be probably August 17th. Just keep a lookout for the specific dates, but you're looking at 17th or 18th as your move-in day for student housing. In terms of roommates, once again, you fill out a general questionnaire, and depending on how you fill out that questionnaire determines who your random roommate's going to be. But if you do want to request a specific individual, just make sure to indicate their student ID on your application, and make sure that individual indicates your student ID, and we'll try our best to place you guys together. Once you apply for student housing, I would actually contact housing directly, just to make sure that they receive your request for a roommate, so that they can process it and make sure to flag your account so that there's a specific individual that you are requesting. Okay.
All right, perfect. Thanks, Jose. So I have a lot of questions asking about if students have allergies and how they kind of handle that in the residence halls, as well, especially the student cafeterias. So absolutely do not worry. We will absolutely work with you. Just definitely make sure to let our housing staff know, as well as I'm sure they'll work with the residence dining staff as well to let them know about your allergies. I know you can talk with a chef and they basically will ask you to make sure that everything is completely safe for you. So I know they have different, even preference options. So like if you are vegan or vegetarian or pescatarian, or you have a peanut allergy or gluten allergy, they can definitely work with you. We accommodate for all diets. So by all means, do not worry. Just talk with them. I know they have a full plan for each of those things. So we also have students asking a little bit more about upperclassmen. So of course we know we have freshman housing, but do we offer housing? So basically we offer housing your freshman through senior year. So even if you're transferring or you're wondering about after freshman year, we do absolutely have those opportunities available for you. And so definitely just be sure to go ahead and apply. Our student housing application will go up usually in February-ish. You all will receive an email saying, hey, housing applications are open. So you can go ahead and submit those. If you go ahead and apply to housing and then change your mind after, don't worry. It's only a $25 application fee for that. So basically you just lose $25, but that's not a big deal. However, if it's like the week before school starts and you've already put your deposit down for housing, you can still cancel it, but you lose a portion of your student housing deposit naturally, but just because they're going to have to, it's gonna be hard to replace you, not in a bad way, but just in a want to make sure you're safe as well kind of way. And then Jose, would you be able to talk more? I have a student asking about if there is student housing buildings with AC available specifically for freshmen.
So most of our freshmen will be placed in our 4 towers, which is our Hawai'i Aloha complex. And unfortunately, those units are not AC. The only air-conditioned facility that we do have on campus is Freer Hall, which is traditionally for sophomores and higher. And that's our newest residence hall, which is Freer Hall. So for the freshman towers, unfortunately, it's not air-conditioned, but with Hawaii's weather, there's naturally, there's a lot of trade winds that flow through. So it actually doesn't really become too hot. If you have a fan, usually a fan is sufficient. I lived in student housing. Depends also which way your room is facing. If it's facing the ocean, the mountain, general campus, traditionally it's a little hotter depending on where your room is. But usually the trade winds, our towers are actually cylindrical. So the entire floor is a giant donut, and there's a lot of breeze. There's a lot of breeze and natural air flowing through it. So it's not as hot as you might expect. Once again, a fan or two, if you really need it, will be sufficient enough. After you become after you lived on campus as a freshman, you can apply for Freer Hall, which is our only air-conditioned units on campus. But once again, we are closely monitoring COVID because this year, a lot of our freshmen, because we gave priority to incoming freshmen, we actually dispersed all of our freshmen, and Freer Hall right now is occupied by all freshmen, single occupancy. So it really depends on what the semester is going to be looking like, but we'll keep you guys updated on what assignments are going to be looking like for the fall.
Yeah, absolutely. Perfect. Thanks, Jose. Just making sure we got most of them. Okay, perfect. So we're going to go ahead and now jump to a new topic, going more into preparing your class schedule. So I know we have a lot of questions on this. So the first topic we're going to touch basis on is going to be how to change your major, because I know, of course, a lot of students will go ahead and apply as one major, and then all of a sudden 6 months later, they're like, wait, what was I thinking back in October? It totally happens all the time. We are not judging you whatsoever. I personally changed my major 3 times, so I don't discriminate at all. But that being said, you can absolutely change your major. Just make sure to go ahead and send us an email to that manoa.admissions@hawaii.edu email, and we will go ahead and work with you. Just make sure you state your first and last name, what your current major is, what your major you're wanting to switch to is, and then either your date of birth or your UHID number to confirm your identity. If you guys go ahead and do that, then usually we just reach out to our staff, and it takes just a few days to go ahead and process and switch it over. We usually will accept major changes until about mid-April or so, it's like early to mid-April that we'll accept it until. But then, of course, if you still want to change your major later on once school starts, you absolutely can do it then. But then it will be directly through your academic advisor and not through admissions. So you can contact us for admissions for changing your major until April. And then after that, you'll want to wait till the start of school and then talk to your academic advisor, and they'll assist you with that. So kind of touching on some other things real quick is, I know we have some transfers in the house, or maybe you've taken some community college credit, Running Start, dual enrollment, there's many names for it. So we do, of course, have our transfer credit database. So Stacy will go ahead and post a link in the chat for our transfer credit database. So definitely take a look at that to see how your credits will transfer from your current university or place that you've taken classes at to our university. And also definitely make sure to give us your official transcript from that college as well. That way we can go ahead and give you those official credits. We can't give you those credits or review them fully until we have that transcript. So definitely make sure to send that in as soon as possible. Also, for AP and IB credits, same thing goes, is we actually have a great link that I'll go ahead and make sure we post here in the chat with information on AP exams and IB exams and what score you got on them and how they will go ahead and convert to us here at Manoa. And then Jose, do you mind go ahead and touching base on how students can get in touch with their academic advisor?
Okay, we have a website called the Manoa Advising Guide, and it has a breakdown of all the different departments or specific majors. And by going on the Manoa Advising Guide, you will actually find the contact information for your major specific advisor. If you're not too sure what you want to major in, you can also contact the Manoa Advising Center, and they can help you with your class selection and also address any questions you might have about specific majors. But we will put the link for the Manoa Advising Guide right in the chat.
Yeah. And I know I have questions asking about how to contact degree-specific scholarships. So these academic advisors that Jose is talking about, this will also be the same way that you can ask them about specific degree scholarships as well. So that's going to be kind of a 2-in-1 link, which is nice. So kind of making sure I covered most of that. Yeah, so kind of moving on to a little bit more about COVID, because I know that's a big question that people are asking. Being super real with you, it's still 8 months in advance or 7 months in advance, so we're not really sure what everything will completely look like just yet. We'll definitely have more information for you guys as it does get closer to give you guys kind of an insight about what COVID on our campus looks like now. That way you kind of know what the worst case scenario is, and then hoping for better scenario. That's the way I like to look at things sometimes. So for this past fall, we, like Jose mentioned earlier, we did still have students living on campus. We just went down to single occupancy for our residence halls, just to be able to safely maintain that 6 feet distance, especially when students are sleeping. Also, we did have some in-person classes, but most of our classes naturally did move online. That was just for the safety of the students and everyone, because naturally, back in August, seems like forever ago, even though it wasn't, we didn't know as much about COVID as we do today. So I know as we moved into the spring, we just started our spring semester 2 days ago on Monday. I believe, from my understanding, we're still doing single occupancy for the spring. And then we've had more classes go in person, but not as many. It's still a very low percentage. I think they said 15% are online and 85%, or sorry, 15% are in person and 85% are online. I know for fall, they're definitely going to try and make it more of a hybrid type style as much as they can, but we can't exactly give any numbers or exactly what that will look like until it is closer to that date. I know once it hits, usually around, I think May, they're expecting to have better answers for you all about that. But just to give you guys an idea, it's really going to depend on the vaccine schedule. Of course, we're rolling it out here in Hawaii as well as the other states. So definitely just keep an ear out. We'll let you know. For campus tours, our campus tours are officially postponed indefinitely, at least until the end of summer that we're saying, just because of the state. It's just too complicated, and we're actually still all working remotely from home right now at this time as well. So we are going to be having a lot of great opportunities coming up for, virtual campus tours. So definitely at the end of this, we'll give you guys the link for that Manoa experience. So go ahead and check out Manoa experience. We'll also be having a couple warrior webinars coming up where we will have students do a virtual campus tour type style. So even though I know it's not the same as in person, I totally get it. We're there with you. We wish it was in person. We're going to try and do our absolute best to be able to make sure you guys can see campus virtually. Don't worry, it is just as beautiful as the photos. Honestly, I think it's more beautiful than the photos. Like when you see it in person, it's just a different level. So definitely just keep an ear out, but we'll try and keep you guys as much digitally informed as we can. Some other questions I've seen that have come up is asking about the honors college, or not honors college, but the honors program. Jose, do you know anything about the honors program or not so much? Or
Usually for the honors program, you would apply sometime, I think their deadline is going to be sometime in July. So you can apply for honors starting now. You just go to the main website for honors and the application is going to be there. So some of the benefits of the honors college is obviously when you start applying for registering for courses, you have priority registration, you have the option of signing up for smaller class sizes taught by honors faculty. You have a lot of one-to-one mentorships. You have really great research opportunities. You actually have to do a thesis prior to graduating. So if you do plan to go to graduate school, you have a really big head start in terms of how to do research. But most importantly, you graduate with honors distinction. So if you want to challenge yourself academically while you're at Manoa, signing up for honors is definitely something you should consider. There's a lot of benefits to it. If you have any questions, you can go to the main honors website and you can contact them directly, and the main application for honors will be posted there.
Perfect. Thanks, Jose. For those who are also wondering, we will be having a warrior webinar session specifically with our honors college, or honors program. It will be coming up, I believe it's in the end of February. I'm not sure the exact date. It's available on our website now, so definitely check that out. It'll be a great opportunity to learn more about the program, be able to ask your questions directly to the honors program. Our honors program also does do one-on-one appointments, so definitely check out their website and meet with them and ask them your questions. They're super friendly, and they'll be happy to assist you in any way that they can. Oh, perfect. It is going to be on March 17th, so definitely mark that date on the calendar. So kind of jumping into a little bit more, going a little bit back to COVID, just for a quick second, just more so to cover the question of online courses. So that's the thing is, I know, like, I'm originally from California, and I know my family has been keeping me in touch that everything is not looking so great in California right now with purple and all the different tiers and colors. So if you're a student that's coming from either the mainland or, or you're an international student, or even some of our local students, if you would rather take all online courses, if that makes you feel more comfortable, by all means, you absolutely can. Whatever makes you feel most comfortable, that does not change your tuition rate at all or anything. It won't affect your scholarships, it won't affect WUI. So definitely, if you would rather take online courses, you're definitely allowed to. So don't stress about that. We understand it's a weird world today. So kind of jumping, I know we have a bunch of questions, just kind of jumping on a little bit more about scholarships again, going back to that. So I have questions about the GPA, if it's going to be unweighted or weighted GPA for the new Warrior scholarships. Jose, do you mind touching base on that?
Yeah, so for any scholarships for incoming freshmen, we use a weighted GPA. So if you've taken IB courses, AP courses, we'll factor all that in. So we take a weighted GPA. So in essence, if you've taken more challenging courses in high school, you're rewarded for it in terms of the scholarship review because your GPA is going to be naturally a lot higher. The minimum GPA requirement is a weighted GPA of a 3.8 for the new Warrior scholarships.
Yeah, 3.8. Yeah, you got it. All right. And then I'm going to jump around. We have about 5 minutes left. So I'm just going to try and take those questions that I see that are frequently asked questions. That way we can make sure to answer those. So let's see, going back to housing. So for housing, do freshmen get to choose their building? And also, do they have the option for a single room housing? So Jose, do you mind mentioning about that housing application again?
Okay, so in terms of choosing your building, you can put in a preference, or you can put in a request for a specific building. All of the freshman towers, in my opinion, they're pretty much all the same, depending on in terms of the layout and setup. But you can put in a specific, you can put in a specific request for a specific freshman tower. What was the other question, Amber?
Oh, let's see. It was yeah, how to request it, and then I don't remember the exact other one. Oh, if they can request a specific hall.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you, on the application, you can request a specific specific building if there you have a certain preference.
Yeah, and then are purchasing the meal plans required if I have one student asking if the meal plans are required if you're living on campus, and then another student asking if they're required to purchase a meal plan even if they're living off campus.
So meal plans are actually only required for our traditional style residence halls where there's no specific kitchen. So if you live in the freshman towers, you live in Johnson Hall, Gateway, or Freer, where you don't have access to a kitchen in your own unit, the meal plan is required. If you move into the apartments on campus as an upper cap classman, you do have a kitchen. So the meal plan is not required. If you live off campus, you're a commuter student, you have the option of purchasing a meal plan, but it's not going to be required. So it's only going to be required as an incoming freshman, and if you live in Freer Hall. But other than that, the size of your meal plan is going to be totally up to you how you want to formulate that. If you want all meals covered, if you only want a certain amount of meals per week, it's totally up to you. It depends on your eating patterns and the size of your diet. And you can formulate the largest meal plan or the smallest meal plan. I would go smaller, and you can always add on top of it. The reason being is if you don't use your meal plan and you miss, using your blocks and points, there's a convenience store in student housing, and at the end of the semester, a lot of our students will rush that convenience store, and they'll try to find a way to utilize their meal plan. So they'll buy cases of ramen, they'll buy cases of food, soda, all the things that you shouldn't be eating as a college student. You'll find a lot of our students will utilize their meal plan to purchase all these items because it doesn't carry over. So I would be realistic in terms of your meal plan, and you can always add on. As a commuter student, it's always good to have a meal plan because you load it on your student ID.
Yeah.
Rather than carrying around your wallet, you can just swipe your student ID, which you utilize for everything. And that's your meal plan. For every, I think, $100 you load on your student ID, I think you get like a free $10 or $20. So they have these promotions. So you get free meals, you get free dining bucks. So that's always good.
Yeah, absolutely. Perfect. I know we have so many other questions. I apologize. I know we had over 100 different questions. So we are definitely going to go ahead and try and still answer those questions. We'll basically follow up with them later on. But kind of just wrapping up this session here today. Jose, do you mind sharing with the audience what your favorite thing is about UH Manoa?
Wow, my favorite thing. Well, I attended the University of Hawaii at Manoa, so I'm a proud graduate of this school, and for me, it was a great experience. I think probably one of the things I look forward to every year is graduation. Going to school at the University of Hawaii Manoa, getting your degree. We do graduation like no other university in the entire country. So if you've seen, publications or even the Paying for College brochure where you see a picture of a student with tons of lays, that's what celebrating graduation and really celebrating you and your efforts and just your entire UH10 experience looks like. Everybody comes and you get lays which cover you from, you're fully loaded with lays when you graduate. And I think that's a really special time to really culminate your academic achievements and your time at UH Manoa. So that's specifically one thing that I really enjoy about the UH Manoa campus. Commencement every fall and spring. But to me, I think probably one of the things I really enjoy as well is obviously the location. There's no better place to go to college than in Hawaii. It's really unique culturally. There's a lot of really good food. There's a lot of adventures you can have as a student. So overall, it's probably one of the most unique experiences that you can have on any college campus.
Yeah, absolutely. I was like, I could not agree. It is definitely such a wonderful place to be, especially I can fully attest coming from California, moving all the way out here, not really knowing anyone, not knowing what to expect. You'll definitely meet your second family here. You'll make lifelong friends, get a great education, and of course, live and study in paradise. So really, who can argue with that? Personal opinion, at least. And of course, the food, next level. I don't care for mainland folks. If you hate on Spam, don't hate on Spam in front of me. I'm obsessed with Spam. They converted me. I love it. It's great. But yeah, we want to first say thank you all so much for joining us here today. Definitely, if you guys have more questions, let us know via our email. I'll put that up here in just a moment. But of course, we want to remind you guys, we have a lot of really exciting upcoming virtual events. Next week is for our accepted students. We have a Financing Your Future. We will have Jacob, who is from Financial Aid, will be joining us here, and he'll be giving you more information about financial aid packages, what the breakdown is, a little bit more about the scholarships. So if you have questions regarding that, definitely be sure to stop in next Wednesday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time. Next Saturday, we do have our wonderful Manoa experience. This is our big open house for the entire school. So definitely if you have specific departments you're wanting to talk with, or you want to meet with other students and attend student panels, virtual campus tour, it's our big once a year open house. It's a really big fun event. So definitely come check it out virtually, of course. We'll look forward to seeing you there. Even if you're a prospective student and you're still waiting to hear back about your decision, check out that event. That is going to be for everyone. Transfers, veterans, freshmen, accepted, prospective. We got you all covered at that one event, which is a ton of fun. And then, of course, thank you again, guys, again for joining us. We will go ahead and send you guys a survey after this presentation here today, as well as we will include a link to the YouTube. So that way you guys can go ahead and reference back to the recording of this webinar. Definitely be sure to contact any of our departments if you have questions, or stop by on our virtual front desk. Or of course, you guys can always email us and we'd be happy to answer your questions. Also, for those who don't know, we do have a Facebook group. So if you guys are, I know your generation's not on Facebook, to age myself and Jose a little bit, but if you guys are on Facebook, we do have, you guys can go ahead and join. It's the new Rainbow Warriors 2021. So just check out that, online. You guys can go and check out the new Warrior checklist scroll to the very bottom, and you will see a link to go ahead and join the Facebook page. But we want to say thank you again, and we guys hope you guys have a wonderful day and stay safe, and we look forward to seeing you in the fall. Aloha.
Hi guys, thank you very much. Take care of yourselves.